Hi guys, and welcome to the Automator Plus YouTube channel, where we will be showing you how to automate your editing workflow. My name is Jock, and I am going to show you different ways to automate your system using AutoHotkey. Just think about it, you've spent a crazy amount of money on that editing system of yours. So why don't you turn it into an automated beast that does all your work for you? Let's take a look at some of the examples that we will explore on this channel. One great feature that we are going to be creating on this channel is a method to export a JPEG screenshot of all of your favorite footage. So say for example you have a client and they're very excited to receive their final product, but you haven't finished editing it yet. What this function will allow you to do is go through all the shots that you have selected and save a screenshot of each of those shots. That way, you'll be able to send them something to keep them excited, and all that you had to do was click a single button on your computer and the computer exported everything for you. Another example of the type of function that we'll be creating on this channel is a function that will allow you to add a warp stabilizer to multiple clips on the same timeline in sequential order. So say for example you have 30 or 50 clips that you want to add the warp stabilizer to, but you don't want to add the warp stabilizer to all of them at the same time, because we all know that that sometimes just funks out completely. So what this function will allow you to do is go to the beginning of the timeline and go to each clip that you marked and add the warp stabilizer to that clip, wait for it to be finished, and then go on to the next clip and add the warp stabilizer to that clip, etc, etc. Another great feature that we'll be creating on this channel is a method to automatically set up your workspace whenever you open Premiere Pro. So Premiere already has a similar function where it allows you to set up your workspace, but what this function will allow you to do is to automatically create bins, automatically import files, automatically rename your files, etc, etc, as soon as you open up Premiere Pro. Now, as I mentioned, the main scripting program that we are going to be using is called AutoHotkey, and you can find the download link in the description below. AutoHotkey is an easy to use scripting language / program that's available for Microsoft Windows. With it, you can create shortcuts to virtually anything on your computer, and you can combine those shortcuts to create something we call macros that will allow you to automate a lot of tedious tasks in your workflow. A few examples of how other people use AutoHotkey to automate their workflow is, for example, to map their internet browser to a specific shortcut on their keyboard. So say for example you press the numpad 1, then automatically your internet browser opens up, or maybe your internet browser opens up to a specific website. Another example would be for users to map phrases, frequently used phrases, to a specific shortcut. So say for example you always at the end of an email say kindest regards, then you can literally just map that string to a specific shortcut on your keyboard, and whenever you press that shortcut, it'll automatically type kindest regards for you. One last example is to combine various shortcuts inside of your favorite program. So in the case of Premiere, let's say you want to ripple delete the clip that is at the playhead. So the normal process would be to press D, select the clip, and then press the shortcut for ripple delete, which I think is Control Delete or Shift Delete or something like that. So it's two different shortcuts that you have to press in order to ripple delete that clip at the playhead. Whereas if you use AutoHotkey, you can string those shortcuts together and combine it to a different, or map it to a different shortcut on your keyboard, and then you only have to press one key to do both those actions. Think about it. If you've ever worked in Photoshop, you can combine different actions together and you can create an action. And this is something similar for Premiere Pro. For the purpose of this channel, I'm going to be showing you how to automate tedious tasks inside of Premiere Pro. Now, as the saying goes, there are many ways to skin a cat, and AutoHotkey is just one of the tools available to you to automate your workflow, and it has its own sets of pros and cons. The biggest advantage of using AutoHotkey is that it is easy to use. And when I say easy, I mean really easy. You don't need any programming knowledge to start scripting in AutoHotkey. And another advantage of using AutoHotkey is that you can write scripts not just for Premiere Pro, but you can write scripts for any program that you want. Whether it's Outlook, whether it's Premiere Pro, whether it's Word or Chrome, or even a computer game, you can write scripts for virtually any program. However, one of the biggest disadvantages of using AutoHotkey is that it is OS specific, so you can only use it on Windows. Another drawback is that a lot of our advanced functions that we'll be creating will be computer specific, so replicating that function on a different computer might prove to be a tedious task. In my opinion though, the biggest drawback of using AutoHotkey is that you don't have access to all the information inside of Premiere Pro. So for example, when using the Premiere API, you have access to the amount of clips on the timeline, you have access to the amount of markers, you have access to what the sequence ID is and what the clip ID is and the in points and the out points, and all of this information is available to you. Whereas with AutoHotkey, you don't have access to that information. Alright, now begs the question, how do I install AutoHotkey, or where do I find AutoHotkey? So I'm going to show you guys. Just go to your internet browser and in Google, just type in AutoHotkey. And just open up the first link that appears. And once the website opens up, you'll see there's a big download button right in the middle of the page. Just click on that button and download AutoHotkey. You can just download the current version. And once you have downloaded AutoHotkey, just double click on the link or click on the link and just install it in the default location. The next step would be to install an IDE onto your computer. Now, an IDE is an acronym for Integrated Development Environment. Now, if you want to know exactly what an IDE is, I would recommend watching this video. You can use any IDE that you want, but I prefer Visual Studio Code as it has a lot of useful features. Let's go ahead and navigate to the Visual Studio Code website. Just go into Google and type in Visual Studio Code. Again, just click right at the top and you'll see there's a big download button, download for Windows stable build. Just click on that download button. Once the download has completed, you can just install it at the default location with the default settings. Right, so VS Code is installed on your computer and you should be greeted with a screen like this once you have opened up Visual Studio Code. The next thing we need to do is install the AutoHotkey language so that Visual Studio Code knows how to interpret the script that you're writing. We're going to go ahead and go to our extensions tab, which is this little icon over here. Click on that and type in AutoHotkey. Now I've already got the language installed on my computer, but it's this very top one, AutoHotkey at the top here. You can just click on that and there should be an install button over here. Just click on the install button. That's it. Now you're ready to write your first script. Let's go ahead and open up our Explorer. Now we're going to start with the classic Hello World script. This is the script that every single programmer that's ever existed has written at one point or another. You guys can just go ahead and click on Open Folder and right click. I'm going to create mine on the desktop and you can just right click and say new folder, and I'm going to call my folder Automator Plus. And you can call it whatever you want. I'm going to open it. I'm going to select this folder. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to create a new file and we're going to call this hello world.ahk. Why .ahk? Because it is an AutoHotkey file. All right, so I'm going to go to the editor side of Visual Studio Code and we're going to type a command called message box, hello world. And I'm going to explain what this means. We're going to break it down into two parts. The first part is going to be message box. Now this is just an AutoHotkey command that generates a message box on your computer with the content that you supply it with. Now the second part is, you guessed it, the content that you supply to the message box. So hello world is the content. Now, in order to run the script, we're going to save the script and then we're going to minimize Visual Studio Code and we're going to go to the Automator Plus folder that we just created. And once this is open, you can just double click on the script and lo and behold, a message box appears with a fantastic spelling mistake. Let's just fix that quickly and it says hello world. That's it guys, well done for writing your first script. In the next few tutorials, we're just going to be dabbling a little bit with the AutoHotkey language and we're going to be writing a few functions to navigate through Premiere Pro, to automate a few small functions inside of Premiere Pro and to just ease our way into creating more complex and more advanced functions for future. If you guys enjoyed that video, please press the like button and subscribe to our channel. And if you have any questions, just leave it in the comments below. I'll see you guys next time.